Guys, please don't mind my hair today. It is the ghetto. Like, I wouldn't leave the house looking like this, but it's giving me problems. And I have this mentality that, anyways, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna wipe this off after this video, so it's whatever. Don't mind me, honey.
I pray that we unmask ourselves from everything that allows us to love. Because love is true freedom. And that's where our freedom is.
Hi guys, how you doing today, my lovey? What is good? It is I, your fave. Okay, maybe not your fave, but I should be, okay? And welcome back to my channel. If you are a regular, and if you are new to my channel, welcome, honey. This is the place to be. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we are lit in this family, okay? So lit up, guys. I hope you guys are doing good, as I mentioned. So I think you can tell from the title of this video. This video today is gonna be my makeup therapy, and I'm so nervous. I'm actually really nervous about this. I might post this video with this voiceover. I might not. If I do, like if you're listening to this right now, then you must know that it took me a lot to actually expose like myself like that, to put myself and my past out there like that, because I'm just going to be talking about some of the things that have happened in my life that I have not really been comfortable talking about to like the world. Only a couple of my friends know. And yeah, today I just thought, you know what, let me just hop on this challenge. By the way, I first saw this on Buibilo's channel, Buibilo K. I will link her video down below. That's the first time I have ever saw this challenge, and then from there on I was quite interested and intrigued, so I went ahead and I checked other YouTubers who are doing it, and I saw it's okay, it's actually a big thing that is currently, you could say it's kind of trending right now in the makeup community, well, the YouTube makeup community. But yeah, I decided to hop on this challenge because for me personally, makeup really is therapy. I started doing makeup when I was really young, and it started off as just having fun, but now it's literally legit one of my coping mechanisms. Like, people who have me on WhatsApp know this. I always talk about how I do my makeup whenever I'm feeling sad or depressed or angry, or just have any negative, hey, or any negative emotions, and somehow it just helps me. So I thought, let me just hop on this trend because makeup can be very therapeutic for a lot of us. So yeah, let me just get into it, guys. I'm really nervous, but yeah. Disclaimer, small disclaimer, I'm not doing this video to bash anyone. I don't want anyone to leave this video hating another person, and I'm just speaking my truth, you know. I don't want to bash anyone or anything like that. And secondly, I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me, so please don't do that. Like, there's nothing I hate like people feeling sorry for me, and that is why I most of the time try not to be vulnerable in front of people, because I don't want people to feel sorry for me. It just puts me in a very awkward situation. And yeah. Okay, so today I am going to talk about something that I also kind of don't like talking about it. Like, I might tweet about it every now and then, but I don't really like talking about it, and that is my depression. So Miguel has depression. Miguel has had depression since high school, but in high school it was just one of those things whereby, you know, our black families, they don't really believe in these things, and they don't take mental health very seriously, you know. So even if they see by you have a problem, they're most likely going to say good and stuff like that, which is what I got a lot from my family. Like, it was just always things of like, like, I don't know, I've just always been known as that girl or Sile Efemeline. And when I say my family, guys, I'm not necessarily talking about my mom. Even though Nai, like, at some point she didn't really understand what was happening with me, but when I talk about family, I'm talking about like my family generally, you know. So even when your family is like black people, black families, I'm generalizing, like even Mabona, you know, something is not okay with this child, they most likely going to think about maybe the stage or you just silly, you know. But else, in my case, that was not the situation. I was heavily depressed, guys. I was really depressed. So let me just give you like a background story as to what led to me being so depressed at a young age. So when I was younger, um, my dad passed away when I was like super, super, super duper young. I was 4 years old. Yeah, he passed away 4 days before my mom's birthday on the 2nd of October, and my fourth birthday was going to be on the 3rd of November. My mom's birthday is on the 6th of October. So, yeah, I was about to turn 4 years old. My mom was about to turn 30 years old when my dad passed away, and unfortunately, he was murdered, right? But the people who killed him were never found because, you know, South Africa and the justice system is just hectic. But yeah, he was shot. It was a very intentional murder. Like, they wanted him dead because they shot him with multiple bullets, you know, and it wasn't like a hijacking or what. He was just at his favorite bar having drinks, and then I don't know if there was a confrontation or anything like that, but then they shot him. And yeah, it was intentional, but those people were never found. So growing up, I grew up without a father, and at first I didn't really like see any difference. You know, okay, I don't have a father. Yes, I saw with the other children have fathers, but I don't. But I didn't really care much for it because I got everything that I needed and I had everything that I wanted. My mom, one thing about my mom, she really, really, really does her best to make sure Wuti we don't feel bad, we don't have a father or whatever. She really does play the role of two parents. God really gave her that strength. In that department, she's winning. I won't lie. Angazi ngisole into. In fact, even things that, not to brag or anything like that, but there were things whereby my friends who had both parents, they didn't have certain things, and I would have them, you know. I would always have the latest phone. I would always have whatever, like the latest whatever that is out there. I was always there, up there with the trends. I don't know, maybe my mom did so much because she wanted to compensate for the fact that I didn't have a father. Maybe she was overcompensating. I don't know what it is, but yeah, she really did her best for a single parent, and I'm really grateful. But yeah, like I didn't feel that thing. It was okay, I don't have a dad, you know. Also because I was quite young when he passed away. So, Masenkula, like as I went to primary school, that's when it affected me slightly. Like there would be times whereby, for example, when Father's Day comes or when Mother's Day comes, you know, Uguti, in school, like in arts and culture or whatever that arts class is that you guys will have in maybe grade 3 or 4, your teachers will always make you make cards for like your parents. So if it's Mother's Day, they'll make you make cards for your mothers. If it's Father's Day, they'll make you make a card for Father's Day. So whenever Father's Day would approach, I hated it so much because I would make this beautiful card, but I would have no one to give it to. So on those days I would get sad, or like when maybe my friends tell me, oh my goodness, my dad did this for me, or my dad took me to this place, or my dad bought this for our family or whatever, then I'd feel a little jealous by like, okay, why don't I have a dad? But then at the same time, I'd always have this thing of like, ah man, my mom can do it for me as well, so it's whatever. So when I started getting much older, okay, before I got older, when I think I was in grade 4, my mom introduced me to a guy by the name of Steve, right? So it was like a serious thing. It wasn't just like a joke thing. It was quite serious because we ended up living together. So my mom basically, she saw a future with this guy, and I won't lie, I was also quite excited about it because I was finally gonna have a father, you know what I mean, like a father figure, even though you're raised by a single parent, whatever. But there's always that like gap emotionally more than anything, or mentally. You was okay, you want a dad, you know, like I wish my dad was around. So yeah, I was also quite excited about it, and he had a daughter that was like 2 years older than me. I was also quite excited about that because I had always been an only kid, so I was like, okay, now I'm gonna have a sister, like Nje, the perfect family structure that we always see on TV, or society's idea of a family structure. It was now about to happen to me too. And then, my dream of like having this perfect family, even though I was content with it just being my mom and I, but it was like, okay, it's about to happen. And then, okay, my mom had a house. We lived it down, yes, Leslie. It was nice, even though like it was still a lot of white people. And white people can be quite racist and make life hell for everyone. But it was, yeah, life was actually good. And then my mom sold her house, and she and this guy bought a house in a different town. So yeah, we moved there. That house was nicer, it was bigger, the garden was absolutely gorgeous. That was my favorite part of the house. It was just such a beautiful house. It was so big, guys. Like, I literally had my own bathroom. My bedroom was an in-suite, and so was my mother's. So it was just really nice, and life was great. But soon my dream became a nightmare, like very, very, very soon. Quick, fast, kichima soon. Okay. My stepfather, he used to drink, ne? But then after a while, he got involved in a car accident, and he was driving my mother's car. So my mother's car got written off, and then we were left with his car. But after his car accident, he started drinking more than he did like before the car accident. And the thing about his drinking now was that he would get so aggressive when he was drunk. So soon after, like, he was quite abusive, not so much physical. Most of it was, I mean, there was a little element of physical there was some physical abuse, but my mom also like was very quick to put him in his place, like, hey, don't try that with me. But yeah, most of it was quite emotional. And the thing about emotional abuse, I feel like I'm getting emotional. Child, relax. The thing about emotional abuse is that, with physical abuse, yes, that is also horrible, and people literally die from physical abuse. But, if maybe someone slaps you or they punch you, a week down the line, the bruise is gonna heal. But with emotional abuse, it's like, how do I heal this bruise? There's no band-aid for heartaches, or for words, rather. There's no cream that you can apply for words. Like, people who are abusive emotionally, they do so much damage because they mess with your whole self-esteem, they mess with your whole psyche, that they reduce you to absolutely nothing. And mind you, at that time I was still very young, and I was entering my adolescent years, and that is the time where you are so self-conscious, and you're trying to find yourself, and you're trying to find who you are. And to have someone like an old man come and break you while you're still trying to form, you haven't even found yourself yet, and you're already being broken. He would say the most horrible things ever. And also, I think the reason why most of the time maizoba violent, like figure to a point whereby it was like physical, we would run away or we'd call the cops or whatever. But yeah, so it got to a point whereby like whenever we'd see his car, because he'd come home super late, like after work he'd go to drink and do whatever he was doing, and then he'd come home, and let's say my mom, my sister, and my little brother was still very young at that time. He was like a baby basically. Whenever we'd be watching TV, enjoying ourselves, the moment we see the lights of his car in the driveway, we would just switch off the TV and we'd go to our rooms and lock ourselves in. And it wasn't even like a planned thing. We never discussed it. So it's okay, when he comes, we're gonna leave. No, it was just like one of those things that just happen naturally. I'd be like, okay, I'm really tired, I'm going to sleep now. And my sister would also say, yeah, Nami hasn't Katela, I have homeworks as well. Like, everyone would just be like, okay guys, good night, it's been great, bye, peace. So it was just one of those things. And it was just, yeah, it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, to a point whereby, like, I didn't even have to call 112 or 10311. I had our detective, like our local detective's number on speed dial, fam. I would literally call him and he'd be like, oh, yile ntombazana yasehadida, hi. Like, he just knew me. That guy knew us in that house by name, because he knew Gucci, especially on the weekend, he would have to come because things were getting violent or things were getting hectic. Like, there were times where we would have to run. There was a time where we went to like a parent teacher conference thing at our school, and my sister was left there with him. And before the conference was even halfway through, we got a call from our neighbor saying my sister went to their house, like with my little brother. He was still a baby. She ran to the neighbor's house crying, like walking, like running barefoot, basically running away from this guy. There were times whereby, hey guys, lo muntu lona uke wasigijimisa. Like, agijimisa ngemoto, bruh. Like, it would get intense. There was a time also whereby agijimisa my mom, my sisters, and my little brother. At that time, that's when I was in boarding school in Pretoria. Abagijimisa he was basically driving. It was in the AMs, I think 2 a.m. or something. And my stepsister told me this, but I don't know if my mom knows that I know what happened. But I think she does, because there was a time we were talking about it and she sort of mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, I know, you know. So wabagijimisa ngemoto aphethe like what do you call izembe in English? It's not a hammer. What do you call that? An axe. Yes, an axe. An axe that you use to chop wood and stuff like that. He had that in the car and he was chasing them, and they were running barefoot in the AMs, bruh. So, like, clearly you're trying to kill people when you do that. But for some reason, it was not easy for us to leave. And that's when I started getting really angry at my mom. Like, you see how this person is. Why are we not leaving? But I guess because I was younger, I did not understand, first of all, the psychology behind, staying in an abusive relationship. It's so easy for people from the outside to judge and say, why did you not leave him? Why uhlala? Like, even with this whole Babe Sodumo situation, like, I saw people were mad that, well, it is rumored Babes is pregnant, and people were just so angry, like, why would you get pregnant? But people don't understand the psychology behind being in an abusive relationship. It's not as easy as packing and going. There's so many dynamics. Also, before someone actually abuses you, first of all, they break you and reduce you to a point whereby you don't know your worth. You don't know that you deserve to be treated better than what they're treating you. And also, they isolate you and they take you out from like friends and family, people that can actually help you. They distance you from those people so much that those people maybe are not able to see what was happening. So for the longest time, I was also angry at my uncles and my aunts, especially my uncles, by like, I don't have a dad. You're supposed to be a father figure to me in a way. How do you let this guy abuse us and you keep quiet and you live your life? But now that I'm older, I'm starting to realize that, no, man, maybe they didn't know what was going on, because we at some point did not really have like that much of a relationship with our family. He basically isolated us so much from our family that everyone is just doing their own thing and nobody knew what was going on. So yeah, after a while, okay, when I was in matric, my mom left. Like, she left that person, but unfortunately, because he was shady and he was doing his shady things, my mom lost every single thing that she had. She lost her cars, lost her house, lost everything. We got to a point whereby we had to move back to my grandmother's house, and we basically left. Hey guys, I left a house whereby I had my own bathroom, guys. Like, an amazing house and an amazing space, an amazing home. And I had to go live Gakokwam, first of all, Selokshini, and it was my first time in matric when I was 18. It was my very first time living in Lukshin. My whole life, I've never lived in Lukshin. It's always been town, this town, this suburb, that suburb, you know. So we had to move to Elokshini, and Elokshini Celeste is not like your Soweto Logishis. No, it's like those ones. It's like the ghetto, honey. It's the ghetto. Bruh, we had to move to the back room, Kakokwami, because Kakokwami, there are people that live there. My aunts also lived there before she passed away. There was no space for us in the main house, and we had to move to the back room. But the tea is, the back room is actually a shack, and it wasn't a shack whereby people lived. It wasn't like a good enough shack for us, because there were no people living in that shack at first. Like, it was just like storage and storeroom things. So yes, obviously they tried to, you know, make it nice for us, you know, put in electricity there, some couches, like bedroom, everything. Like, the shack was proper, but it was still a shack, and it was like not a homely shack, you know, because it wasn't a home initially. Guys, the embarrassment of, not only am I living in Lokshini now, but now I'm living in a shack. Now the tea is, I started losing friends because now I was not good enough for my friends. I'm actually like saying this with tears in my eyes, damn. Um, whew, I started losing friends. I felt like, okay, that means I'm not good enough for them, you know. Um, like, it would be small things, like my friends would go to the movies on their own without telling me about they're going to the movies or whatever, and I'd ask them like, "Hi, bo, ansang jaylo go to go a movie?" And they'd be like, "No, we thought maybe you wouldn't have money to come through, you know." So that would hurt, obviously. Okay, I feel like this video is about to be over and I've only told half of my story, so there might be a part 2 in the future. There will definitely be a part 2 because there's still more, honey. I've been through a lot. Okay. um so yeah, I started losing friends. People were mean. People would say things like, I'd go to the shop and someone would say something like, "Hey, they're about to go pelelapi. Look where they are now. Where do they think they were gonna end up? Look at the shack they're living in." Even we don't live in shacks like that. But you know, God being God, God is always gracious. Like, gracious. Yeah, God is always gracious. God always pulls through for his people, because I'm not in a shack anymore. That's for sure. We're not living in a shack anymore. So we're right. Like, yes, my mom still hasn't been able to get herself a house yet. But she was able to get herself a car. We were able to get out of the shack. We were able to, you know, like, life is, we getting back there. And also, I feel like if I wasn't in a private institution, because I'm in a private institution right now, I'm doing my degree in a private institution. I left a private institution and went to another one, and it's very expensive. It's very, very expensive, I won't lie. So I know for a fact that she would be way ahead in life if it wasn't for her having to pay for my fees, because she's paying cash. Like, I don't have a bursary or any financial aid or anything like that. She's literally paying imali yakhe. So I know ukuthi once maybe I'm also done with school, then things will definitely get better, much, much, much better. That stepfather guy, I'm really, guys, yo, like, it's so hard for me to, and obviously he's part of my family because he's my siblings' parents, like biological parents, so he can't go anyway. But it's like, I'm really. But guys, yeah, this is part 1. I will tell you guys my part 2. But oh yeah, also I wanted to mention that in high school, that's actually the first like suicide attempt that I have had in my life. I was in grade, I think I want to say grade 10. Also, my life orientation teacher noticed that I was cutting myself. Like, I used to cut my wrists, and I actually don't have scars. That means maybe my skin heals really good, or maybe my cuts are not that deep. I don't know. But I used to cut myself, and I tried to commit suicide when I was in grade 10. But you know how, like, when I was at school, I was always the smiling person, Dontoni. Okay, there would be times where I would even bunk school, like I'd bunk classes and I'd go to the bathroom and cry, bruh. Imagine bunking classes to go to the bathroom and cry because I was just so depressed. But whenever I'd get to my friends or I'd get to my class, I'd just be smiling, you know, because I didn't want people to know what was going on. I'd just be fake. Fake girls worldwide. But yeah, guys, so let me just say this, like, always be kind to people. I always say this. Always be kind to people because you don't know what they're going through. At that time when everything was happening, I felt like I was being judged by, you know, people from outside, and also my friends and even family members, because some people in my family, especially people my age mates, like or whatever, because I was very antisocial. I would just like be on my own. I wouldn't want to be with other people, but I was depressed, guys. I was not trying to act better or anything, you know. They just make mean comments. So yeah, it's very important to always be kind to people because you do not know what people are going through, honey. Part 2 is gonna come. Okay, I'm not sure when I'm gonna film that and do the voiceover and everything, but I promise you guys, you can hold me accountable. Always remind me in the comments, Sifunu part 2. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into my video. And again, this is not to bash anyone. I don't want you to hate anyone, okay? Stay cute, stay blessed, stay humble. Bye.